Well, hey, you, and welcome back or welcome to another episode of the Western Hippie Podcast. I'm your host, Michaela. My co-host, Willard the Corgi, is asleep in the room next door, and I don't blame him because it's a hot cocoa and rainy day in the Pacific Northwest. I am so excited for today's video because today I'm going to be talking about my top 15 favorite Toby Keith songs that you probably never heard of. And I got the inspiration for this video for a couple of different things. One was I came across a guy named Grady Smith's YouTube channel back in 2020. And I should have known this, but I had no idea there was this niche of people talking about country music. And I loved it because it was this neutral place to go to. And it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. And it's something that, country music I feel like it's an essential part of my soul and my being and how I became the person that I am, because I don't know. I just remember I was laughing one day because someone's like, how do you think you turned out the way you turned out? And I'm like, I listened to Toby Keith and Cher every day as a kid. I feel like that just sums me up. And it also sums up this Western hippie. Like, Toby Keith's my Western and Cher was my hippie. And the saddest part to me, like the biggest tragedy about Toby Keith, is there's a lot of people that have never heard the songs on his albums. And I've loved Toby Keith since I can remember. I had his How Do You Like Me Now from 1999. I had that on a Sony Walkman cassette. And my sister and I vividly remember my sister and my dad was loading some stuff up at Sears and they had like an outside loading dock. And my sister and I didn't want to be over there. And so we went and stood under a tree and we're talking about which was our favorite Toby Keith song on the album. And I hate to say it, but one of the ones that she said was her favorite is now my favorite today. Gosh, 24 years later, which is just wild. And from this love of Toby Keith from such a young age, I would watch all the specials about him on CMT. I would watch every music video that was on the CMT Top 20 Countdown and really discovered who he was as a writer. And as someone who was identified as a writer from the time I could remember, I loved this about him and how he could articulate these things and feelings and really saw the depths of what it meant to be someone who grew up in a rural lifestyle. And that's one of the things that's been my biggest heartbreak of Toby Keith, is because as I was going through and I was getting content ready for this video, it dawned on me, even after 2013, I don't recognize this Toby Keith anymore. And I go back to his old albums and I just think dude, you get it. You get it better than any country music, singer and writer I've ever heard. And so for him to, and he does have, in my opinion, he does have this very goofy side to him that he shows. Just go listen to his bus songs. And I'm like, okay, you would totally, we're just smoking, smoking something, drinking something and having a lot of fun. And I love that side of him too. I love the bus songs. And Red Solo Cup, that's country, bro. Out of all the country singers I know, you do not have to tell me your country. And in 2013, I think Grady articulates it very well, but I think they call it the bro country era. If you have to tell me about your big lifted truck and the girl you're trying to get that's in some little Daisy Dukes, I don't care. Go fly a kite. That's my opinion of it, because if you have to tell me something, I don't believe you. But if you can articulate it and if you can show me that you know what it's like, that you can feel the feelings, you can say the words, I'm sold. And again, Toby Keith does that better than anybody, any artist I've ever come across. And I don't know if he's lost that. I don't know if he's trying to stay up on current times, but really, Happy Birthday America, which came out, I believe, in 2021, was the first time in years I've heard that side of Toby. And so I really wanted to make this video for you, for people to enjoy in my opinion, the best parts of Toby Keith. And I don't know. I think this is just I love Toby Keith and I love this side of Toby Keith. And I believe it deserves to be honored and remembered more than it has been. So without further ado, let's get into my top favorite 15 Toby Keith songs that you've probably never heard of. Okay. So number 15, Ain't It Just Like You? And this is off his Unleashed album from 2002. And in some of his songs, I've noticed I will listen to them for the sound of them and just one word. And the sound of this song I love, but he has a line in this song that says, is it honey or baby? I don't know. I think it's honey. You must make my heart as a revolving door, the way you come and go as you please. And I think we can all relate to that to a certain extent. We've all had some friendship or some relationship or something that it feels like they're just coming and going as they please. They want nothing to do with us unless they need something. And we feel like a revolving door. And I just think, again, he put such a complex feeling into one line, and it's absolutely beautiful. I almost didn't put this one on here, but as I was going, there was some songs, like I had 25 to start out with, and there were some songs I'm like, do I put it on there? Do I not put it on here? And when I re-listened to this song, I was like, this song's got to go on here because someone needs to hear this song. Okay, so number 14 is Losing My Touch, and this is also off his Unleashed album from 2002. And I just, again, he can paint a picture so well. And I love his play on words with this song because he's going through all, is it 5 senses, 6 senses? I don't know. But, you know, I can taste this. I can taste this. I can see this, but I'm losing my touch. And I can't, like, you just have to go listen to this song because I think he does a really good job, and I'd be really curious to see what he's like in real life because I have been doing a deep dive on John Denver, and I want to share that with you, and I'll share that with you soon. But John Denver was talking about how he could articulate how he felt better in his music, in his writing, than he could by talking. So when he was married to Annie, he would write her a song. And he would write her this song to explain how he really felt. And she would think he was looking for critique and feedback on the song. And so it would turn into this battle. And so I'm curious to know if Toby Keith is the same way, because in his music, I feel like he can articulate both sides really well, both the man's role and the woman's role, how they both feel. And I'll talk about it more in one of his other songs because that's my favorite. But how there's these things tearing them apart, but they're both hurt and they both need to say something. And he knows how both of them are feeling it, but it's like this middle of how can we both articulate and come back together. And in Losing My Touch, that's just one of those things. Like he can articulate this broken heart so well. And I'm just like, Toby, you're breaking my heart and my heart's not even broken. Okay. So 13 is also off the Unleashed album from 2002. And I think I mentioned earlier the 1999 How Do You Like Me Now, the 2001 Pull My Chain, and 2002 Unleashed. Those are my top 3 favorite Toby Keith albums. So there's going to be a lot of songs from those albums on here. But Huckleberry. And Huckleberry, I actually almost put as 15, but I think Huckleberry paints the whole picture better than Losing My Touch and Ain't It Just Like You. And it's just this cute little love song. Baby, I'll be your Huckleberry. You don't have to double dare me. If the world gets wild and scary, count on me to be right there. It's just so cute. This little, I'm pretty sure that part of the scene he paints, they're at like this county fair, and it's adorable. So if you're into a love song, Huckleberry is for you. Okay, number 12, You Didn't Have As Much to Lose. And I love this song because of the lyrics are great, but the music really takes you on this journey with the lyrics. And I believe the opening line is, I can't believe it's come to this, 2 broken hearts, 1 goodbye kiss. And it's just this, like, he takes you through the sadness and then into the anger. And when he like goes to the low, to the high, and then back to the low, the music is taking you on this journey with the lyrics. And it's just it's such a piece of art. And I don't like, that's some of these things are really hard for me to put into words because I can feel it, but I can't articulate it. But, it's just like the way that it seems from the perspective that Toby's singing it in. It's like, you clearly don't have as much to lose as I do, as in my heart is like shattering in pieces and you don't seem to give, like you seem to be better off without me. And I think with men specifically, I read a book in 2016, I think, called Keys to the Kingdom and the Queen's Code by Alison Armstrong. And if you've never read them, I think they should be required reading for everyone. But she talks about the miscommunication between men and women and in heartbreak. And I really think that we miscommunicate our feelings a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a study that comes out that 90 to 100% of our problems are miscommunication between men and women. Because one of the things that Allison says is men are not hairy women and vice versa. And I think this song really articulates it very well of how the man feels. And there's this disconnection of, well, does she feel the same way or does she just not care? And you can feel, like I said, you can feel that emotional wave throughout the song, and it's so well done. Okay. So number 11 is Tired, and this is off of Dreamwalkin' in 1997. And I love this album too. In the pre How Do You Like Me Now era, the Dreamwalkin' album is definitely my favorite out of Boomtown and Blue Moon. It's such a beautiful album. And Tired, I think, I want to say the music is almost as powerful, if not more powerful than the lyrics on this one as well. And I can't remember if this one was a hit or not. So this one might not totally count, but we're going to count it. And there's this point where it's like, Lord, I'm tired. Life is wearing me smooth down to the bone with no rest for the weary. I think you just move on or something like that. And it's so good. You can feel the tiredness. And when I listen to this song, it's like I can picture people in like the 1920s, stock market crash or the Dust Bowl. And it's just, even sometimes when I'm mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted, like this song can articulate how I feel better than I can. It's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, Lord, I'm tired. Life is wearing me smooth down to the bone. Like that's all I got to say. And so definitely more of a heavier, depressing song, but so well wrote. The music's well wrote. The lyrics are well wrote. And it's a sad song. And I feel like if someone did a movie on like an era piece, like this song would have, my sister and I just rewatched Seabiscuit. And I feel like this song would have been perfect for that, depression part when they're talking about the 1920s and stuff in Seabiscuit. I'm like, you should have used Tired by Toby Keith. Come on, like get your stuff together. But okay, so let's go into number 10, which is You Leave Me Weak off of Pull My Chain. And this to me is just a beautiful love song. And one of the things that I've noticed about Toby Keith, I love when he hums. And in this song, he hums so much. And honestly, that's probably why it's number 10. It's because he hums. So without further ado, let's go into number 9. Didn't make a very good case for You Leave Me Weak, other than it's just if you like a good love song, the other song that I think competes with You Leave Me Weak, but this was a hit, so I didn't include it on the list, was Crash Here Tonight. It's just, when the dude wants to write a love song, like watch out, because it's going to take your heart and it's just going to squeeze it as tight as it can. It's not going to let go. So consider yourself warned. Okay. So Forever Hasn't Got Here Yet. And this is also off Pull My Chain from 2001. And I just, in this song, I kind of want to know what he was going through in his personal life when they were putting this album together, because there's a lot of similar underlying themes, in my opinion, in these songs. But my favorite lyric is, come on, baby, we're still together. This ain't as good as it's gonna get. I swore I'd love you till the end of forever, and forever hasn't got here yet. And it's like, okay, they're on the verge of splitting up. They're on the verge of going their different ways. But we said forever, and forever hasn't got here yet. But it's also an upbeat song. It's like, let's go. Come on. Like, forever hasn't got here. Let's go. We can still save this. We're still in this together. Like, we got this. And it's fun. It's, when you want to give up and you just want to throw in the towel, like you put on this song and you remember, oh, forever hasn't got here yet. Like, let's go. Let's get back in. And actually my cousin introduced me to this song, and really this whole album, my cousin introduced me to, and to this day, it's, oh man, it's probably as a whole. So my favorite songs are on the Pull My Chain album. As a whole, How Do You Like Me Now is there may be one song in the How Do You Like Me Now album that I'll skip. There's a couple songs in Pull My Chain that I'll skip, but my favorite songs are from Pull My Chain. It's such a great album. I think it was totally overlooked in general, and I could be wrong because I don't know where it actually landed, but it's such a good album. Okay. So number 8, this might have been a hit. I can't remember, and I didn't do my research, but I love it so much that people modern day may have not heard it. And so it deserves a spot on the list. So it's here. And it's I'm So Happy I Can't Stop Crying. And Sting actually does a duet with Toby on this. And there's this saying, I think, I'm trying to remember, I heard it on a podcast, but I can't remember who said it. This is not from me. This is not my quote. But it's I don't laugh because I think it's funny. I laugh because I prefer to laugh than to cry. And I think we've all been in those moments where it's like, this is not funny, but I'm laughing because I'm out of tears. I can't cry anymore. And it's just like, I'm so happy I can't stop crying. And it's this irony of this situation is so messed up. Like, I think it opens 7 weeks have passed now since she left me. She shows her face to ask me how I've been, says the kids are fine, but they miss me. Maybe I should come and babysit sometime. And I'm from a family of my parents split. And I just think it's like, again, he can put into words the really effed up stuff. Like you're asking a father if he could babysit sometimes, and no judgment on either side. That was not a judgment, but it's this question of how did we get here? How do we get to a point where we're split up? We're kind of walking on eggshells, but we used to love each other, and maybe I should come and babysit sometime. And it's this happy, sad song. And Luke Combs actually does this really well. And in that video that I watched that Grady did, he articulates this very well, like making sad lyrics feel happy or making happy lyrics feel sad. And this song to me does it really, really well. And it's one that I'll go back to every now and again. It's like, I'm so happy I can't stop crying. Because it's like, I'm actually really freaking sad, but I don't know what else to do. And I'm in this situation, whether I want to be or not. So I might as well happy cry until I can't cry no more. Okay, next. 7 is off. And this is like my last Toby Keith album that I would put on repeat, but it's from the Honky Tonk University album from 2005, and it's Knock Yourself Out. And oh my gosh, this song just, if you're having a bad day, if you're having some heartbreak moments, like just go listen to this song, because I think it will articulate some of the things that you're feeling that you don't know how to articulate yet. And it's knock yourself out, break me in two. You got to go do what you got to do. I gave you my best shot, but you didn't fall head over heels in love after all. And I don't want to fight no more. Baby, there's the door. Go on, knock yourself out. And it's just, when you get to your wit's end and you don't know what else to do anymore, knock yourself out. And the music is great. You can feel what he's feeling. The lyrics are beautiful. And I just, every now and again, it's like when I need to put a sad song on, I catch myself going back to this one more than the other ones on the list. And so I had to put it on here because if you haven't heard this song, you got to go check that one out. Okay, number 6, Where Are You Gonna Go? This is also off Honky Tonk University from 2005. And again, this song is such a, like, someone needs to make a movie about this song. And it starts with June fell for Johnny on the 4th of July as the fireworks popped in the summer sky. With a spark in her eyes, she just sat there and stared at his face filled up with rockets' red glare. And then it goes like, you're falling in love. And then it turns and it's like, by September, she'd asked him for a wedding band. How could she have known he was a rambling man with, he walked out the door in the dead of a night, and in a sleepy hoarse whisper, he turned out the light and she said, where are you going to go? What you going to do when you get there? Who you going to call when the road runs out at the scene? And later in the chorus, it says, you know, you're never going to find someone who loves you like I do. When you get tired of running, you can turn around and walk back to me. And I'm just like, even just saying them right now, I'm like, when you get tired of running, you can turn around and walk back to me. And I think I've said this in a different podcast, but and I'm just going to say it again because it's true. And I don't necessarily like this about myself, but it's the truth. Inside, I'm like this lonely, brokenhearted cowboy. And I totally relate to running. I totally relate to running from the things that you love the most. And it makes no sense. But when you feel something, instead of running into it, that's one of the things I've worked so hard in my life is feeling these things that scare the bleep out of me. And instead of running away, like running into them. And so when she says, when Toby Keith says, but she's saying it in the song, when you get tired of running, you can turn around and walk back to me. It's just like, man, I know this is not what you want to do, but there's a part of me that also knows you can't help it. And it's such a beautiful song. It paints such a beautiful picture, and someone needs to turn this into a movie. Maybe I'll turn it into a movie. I don't know, but go check out Where Are You Gonna Go from the Honky Tonk University album from 2005. All right. So number 5 on the list is It's All Good from Unleashed in 2002. And recently, very recently in the last 2 or 3 months, this song has stolen my heart. And I think because anybody I don't know, I think you can just look around in the world and know things are uncertain. And this song to me, so the 2002 album was right after 9/11. And if you know Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, this is the album that it's on. And it's just articulates really well. Like, even though everything around us is crazy, you know that meme where there's that dog sitting in the burning house and he's like, this is fine. This song has a more beautiful way of putting that meme into words. But it's like, even though there's all these crazy things going on around us, like, it's all good. It's all right. I'm going to sit here with my baby tonight and let the troubles of this world roll on by us like they should. It's all good. It's okay. And he hums in this one too. And humming, like I said, I love humming. It really relaxes me. Toby Keith has a beautiful humming voice. And it's just like, okay, even though all of these wild things are going on around us, even though the world is crazy, how can we find a sense of peace and a sense of calm in our world? How can we make our home all good? And this song is just so, if you're having a rough day, if you're overwhelmed about the world around you, go put on It's All Good. It's okay. All right. Number 4, the How Do You Like Me Now album from 1999 is When Love Fades. And I think my parents had either just got done splitting or were in the midst of splitting when I was listening to this album. I can't remember, but Where Do You Run? Where Do You Hide? After the Promise Breaks? Who will be the one to say goodbye? And who will be the one to stay when love fades? And it's, again, like, I think he has such a way of articulating this conflict in relationships, in life, in divorce, in separation. And it was just like, crap, where does this go? When love fades, where does this go? And the music in my, like, there's just like dun 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 in the song, and it's like, yeah, dun 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 dun, love has faded. And the lyrics, the song, the music together, it's such a good song. And I think anyone who's gone through heartbreak, anyone that's been through a family that has separated, I think can really relate to this song. So number 3, earlier when I said my sister had the favorite song off of How Do You Like Me Now, and I ended up agreeing with her, which, especially when we were younger, did not happen very often. We did not agree, is Blue Bedroom. And this song, I think, is my second most played. If you have Apple Music, you can arrange songs and your top 25 most played, top 50 most played, top 100 most played. And Blue Bedroom is my second most played Toby Keith song on that list. And I can't, it's one of those songs I'm like, you just really have to go listen to it. And woke up this morning to day old coffee, smoked what was left of your cigarette, sit by the phone just in case you call me. It ain't a ringing yet. You're probably halfway to Albuquerque. You'll head north up to Santa Fe. You'll never know just how much it hurt me to watch you walk away. And just the beat to the song, it hits the word. It's just such a beautiful, the lyrics are beautiful. The music is beautiful. And it's so funny, but every time I listen to it in the rig when I'm driving, I just like, I can't help but hit my fingers on the steering wheel and like hit all the beats. It's so, and it's kind of like in my blue bedroom, I've got a sad and lonely view above the melancholy moon. My pillow smells like your perfume, missing you in my blue bedroom. Like it's such a good song. I can't articulate how much I love the song, how great it is. So please go listen to it. And you'll have to let me know if you love it as much as my sister and I do, because it's just, it's like Toby Keith at his best. Okay. Number 2. So I think to love this song, you have to be a very particular kind of person. And I can't remember if I talked about this in the intro, because truth to be told, I've restarted this video more times than I want to admit, like probably 10, 15, 20. I don't know. And songs that tend to do really well on the mainstream are very surface level. And these more complex songs that tend to be more depth are a little more niched, maybe a little harder to relate to if you haven't been in certain situations. And this song is very much one of those songs, but man, if you get this song, if you relate to this song, I think to be honest with you, this song and the first song, I could not decide for the longest time which one I was going to put in the number 1 spot. And this song I actually think is maybe better written, maybe the better song, but the other song just has too much of a soft spot in my heart. But it works for me, off the Unleashed album in 2002. And this has been one of my favorite songs since the 2002. Like I remember my old laptop, I think I had listened to this song like over 6,000 times. And it's just like, I never owned a brand new car. I never worked in a white collar. I never held a woman longer than I held a single dollar. Never went out chasing rainbows, because there can't be that much to it. Even if I found my pot of gold, I'd probably piss right through it. And one of the reasons I really fell in love with this song is because it reminds me of my dad. And if you grew up with a dad like mine, you're going to hear this song and you're just going to look and think like, oh my gosh, he knows my dad. I don't know how he knows my dad, but he knows my dad. And I think we all have someone in our lives. And back to my comment, like on the inside, I'm just like this lonely, brokenhearted cowboy. Like when growing up, I was a daddy's girl. Like my favorite thing to do was sit on dad's shoulders. And I really got that part of my dad, this sorrow and this, I am who I am and I'm not what I'm not. And, take me or leave me. And this song is just, it's really a blue collar song, I would say. And he does it so well. What is my favorite is, oh my gosh, I can't believe, isn't that the wildest thing when you're like, I know every word to this song, but now that I'm trying to talk to you about it, I can't remember, but, he talks about, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now. It's something about and if the city's, so great, why doesn't, I got it. I live out on the back roads where I walk my country mile. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. And I'm okay. All right. I'm looking up the lyrics because I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now. I can't believe it. Okay. That was embarrassing. We're just gonna look up the lyrics. I live out on the back roads where I walk my country mile. And if the city is so good, why doesn't anybody smile? All that traffic's always heavy and that air ain't fit to breathe. I ain't saying that it's wrong for you, but it doesn't make sense to me. Of course, when I didn't even have to Google it. I just had to apparently sing it, I guess. But I love that he's like, I'm not saying this is, I get why you don't, like, for me, it's like, I get why you don't live the lifestyle that I do, but it doesn't make sense to me. And I cannot say, even my friend and I were talking about this song last week or the week before, and she's like, why didn't this song go anywhere? And I'm like, because I think it takes a special person to relate to this song. But like I said, if you relate to this song, it will speak the words to your soul in 2 minutes and 30 seconds or 3 minutes and 30 seconds, whatever it is. So before I get into the number 1 spot, I have some honorable mentions that some of them I think were minor hits and some of them they didn't make the list, but they're really fun and they're good and you should give them a listen. Like I said, I'm going to say it a million times. If you want the best of Toby Keith, those 3 albums, How Do You Like Me Now from 1999, Pull My Chain from 2001, and Unleashed from 2002, like that is the heart of Toby Keith, in my opinion. Like I said, I would put Dreamwalkin' in there, and his original album, Toby Keith. Like I was listening to Some Kind of Good, Kind of Hold on Me from the Toby Keith album, and so good. So good. Okay, so honorable mentions, We Were in Love off Dreamwalkin' in 1997. I do believe this one was a minor hit. Maybe it was a hit, but like I said, if you know Toby Keith from the Red Solo Cup era, you may not know this song. So go listen to it. And when I actually first heard this song, I liked it because it was a different side of his voice that I had never heard of. And at first I was like, is this actually Toby Keith? It is. It's a beautiful song. We were a rock, ready to roll, and there was a fire down in our souls. All the whole world had to stand still and turn around us, because that was the deal. The next honorable mention is the Sha La La song from Pull My Chain, and it's just goofy. My cousin's and I's favorite line is, a little blue-eyed blonde in a red hot sweater wants to spice my chili. I think I'm going to let her. It's goofy. It's the goofy side of Toby. It's great. So if you need a little fun song, the Sha La La song off Pull My Chain from 2001, it's a blast. And Honky Tonk University 2005, You Ain't Leaving, Thank God Are Ya. It's about this girl that she left, and it was like, it reminds me of the like, what are you going to do without me? And he's like, you ain't leaving, thank God are you? You can't be gone fast enough. What seemed to last a lifetime just left in a cloud of dust. This will make my girlfriend happy. She's the one that never thought you would. You ain't leaving, thank God are you? Let us pray you're gone for good. It's kind of terrible. I mean, it's kind of terrible, but I love it. So it's fun. And it's like, okay, good riddance. So anyway, and the next one, Nights I Can't Remember, Friends I'll Never Forget off Shockin' Y'all in 2006. I've recently been watching Sweet Home Alabama more than I'm not going to admit it. I'm just not going to admit it. And this song kind of reminds me of that scene, the bar scene a little bit, but with Melanie not criticizing everybody. And it's just me and JB and Sunny. We grew up on the Buddy Plan. Weren't we some bad mothers? Closer than brothers. Had a rock and roll little 3-piece band. It's a great buddy song. Yeah, it's a great buddy song. Okay, the next song is off Bullets in the Gun from 2010, and it's called Somewhere Else. And I was listening to it this morning while I was getting ready to record this, and it's just a good beat song. If you don't know where you're going, you might end up somewhere else. I don't know that the lyrics are like, whoa, that's amazing, but it's just this beat of, I'm lost and I don't know where to go. But if you don't know where you're going, you might end up somewhere else. And it's just a song I find myself every now and then. I'm like, man, I haven't listened to that in a while. And I'll go back and listen to that. And I really enjoy it. The next one is Little Miss Tear Stain from Drinks After Work. And the next one after that is actually a whole lot more than that. Also off Drinks After Work. And I don't know. They're just fun. Again, they're not like mind blowing. To me, it's not like Toby Keith's best writing by any means, but they're just fun. And Little Miss Tear Stain is like, Little Miss Tear Stain, would you entertain the thought of maybe having a talk? Could we ever get back together? Is never still a good time to call. And as someone who's got this like sassy sense of humor, like the fact that he's like, is never still a good time to call? Like, I'm just like, that's awesome. Like, I'm still going to ask you, but I'm like, I just love that little like smart ass comment there at the end. I think it's great. And then Whole Lot More Than That, it's a breakup song, but it's like Getting You is going to take a whole lot more than that, or Getting Over You is going to take a whole lot more than that. And so he goes through these other things like, if I want more sugar, I'm going to need more honey. If I want this, I'm going to need blah, blah, blah. And Getting Over You is going to take me a whole lot more than that. So again, it's a fun little breakup song, not earth shattering as far as the writing and the music goes, but it's fun. And in that era of Toby Keith, it was kind of nice to like some songs. And I prepped this list yesterday. And when I went into town to get my coffee this morning, I was listening to Toby Keith, just like, okay, I'm going to get ready for this episode. And he also, when he re-released the Toby Keith album for the 25th anniversary, He did a song called Tossin' and Turnin', which I really enjoy that song. That's a new Toby Keith song that I've enjoyed. Lost You Anyway off that Don't Make Me a Bad Guy. I did enjoy that song, but it's just wild because, like I said, I used to know every single Toby Keith song off every single album, every single lyric. And really after the Honky Tonk, I knew White Trash with Money. I know all the songs off that, but it's not the Toby that I fell in love with. So the Toby Keith I did fall in love with, which leads us to the song and the number one spot is Tryin' to Matter off Pull My Chain from 2001. And like I said, It Works For Me was in my number one Toby Keith song spot for years up until this last year. And earlier when I was talking about how he can paint both sides of the picture really well, and he hums in this song. So, that soft spot for me has been hit, but he paints this breakup so well. And the takeaway of the song is like, we might go down crying, but at least our love will die trying to matter. And it's like, okay, if we're going to hit the dust, if we're going to crash and burn, if this relationship's going to end, like we need to go down trying to matter. And the song starts from the guy's perspective. And it starts with, I'm a lonely man with a lonely life. I got a full-time job and a part-time wife, and the grindstone just goes on. And in the next verse, he goes to her perspective. You're a lonely girl that's a lonely wife. You got a 3-bedroom and an empty life, and you're not quite sure just where it all went wrong. And it's just like, how did we get here? But the fact that he can take both sides, both the female's perspective and the male's perspective, and then bring it all together and say like, let's give it one good shot. Let's give it all we got. We can take it nice and slow. Baby, don't you want to go back where we had a chance, where we danced our dance in a world where a heart can never shatter? We might go down crying, but at least our love will die trying to matter. And the music is great. And for me, the song is a dance. And I love to dance. I love feeling music through your body when you dance. And this, let's give it all we got. And the way he does the lyrics, you can really dance and feel, in my opinion, what these people are going through in this breakup. And like I said, I would love to know when he wrote this Pull My Chain album, I would love to know where he was at in his life, what was going on in his relationship. Like, where did he see this play out? Is this just something he has seen played out and it came out through this album? I don't know, but this Toby Keith song it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, that is my top 15 favorite Toby Keith songs that you've probably never heard of. If you want me to do another Toby Keith video, I have so many different ideas, but I would love to hear what you want to hear. If you want me to go over what I think his best like actual hits are, best albums, do a little deeper dive into the albums, I would love to hear. If you're listening on the YouTube channel, please comment below. If you're listening on the podcast, you can send me a DM on Instagram at Michaela Pollock, or you can send me an email, michaela@michaelapollock.com. I will link all of that into the show notes. And thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my Toby Keith video, because this was so exciting for me to make. And I want to make more of these. So if there's any other like country music stuff you want me to cover, please comment or send me that as well. If you're a Toby Keith nerd like I am, I would also love to hear what your top 15 favorite Toby Keith songs are. And yeah, thank you for listening, and I will see you next time, my hippies. Take care. Goodbye.